Hey everyone, I'm Shawn Rossler, the Furbearer Specialist with the Wisconsin DNR. Today we're here at our Fur Resource Training Center and thought we'd take this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about what we do related to our annual Bobcat carcass collections. And also wanted to take this opportunity to thank all the hunters and trappers that continually give their support with the collection of these, and want to take the opportunity to show you guys what it is that we do with them. I'm sitting here with Nathan Roberts, our Furbearer Research Scientist, and he's going to be here too to tell you a little bit more about what it is we do with all the data and the biological samples that we collect.
Bobcats are a common species in our state, but as hunters and trappers know, they're a secretive species and elusive species, and that makes some real challenges in monitoring bobcats. So for monitoring bobcats, we need to put together multiple pieces of information, and some of that information we're able to get from license sales or from track surveys, but some of that information comes directly from the hunters and trappers in the state. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is information that hunters and trappers provide to us by giving us carcasses that we're able to examine and get information that we couldn't get otherwise. So we're going to walk out into our makeshift laboratory and show you exactly what we do with those carcasses that you provide us.
So here we are in the laboratory, and I'm going to show you the samples that we collect. First, I'm going to take you down to the head end and show you what we collect as far as the jaw and the tooth. So on every bobcat that comes in, we're going to make a small cut on each side of the lower jaw. So one right in the middle and one on the side. And what that gives us is a piece of the tooth. And this canine tooth, it's important that we get the entire root in order to determine the age. And so once we collect this, what we do with it then is we send it off to a lab in Montana, and they are able to give us age information from that tooth. If you come back down this end of the bobcat, on females, the other thing that we're collecting is the reproductive tract. So it's important that we open up every animal, because on bobcats, sometimes it's hard in the field to determine whether an animal's a female or a male. So we open all the animals up, and what we're looking for just underneath the bladder here is the reproductive tract. And female bobcats have a bifurcated uterus, which just means that there's two separate sides, and so when you pull it out, you're looking for a Y here. And if you go down each side, there's a ovary here, and when we collect that, we're just going to make one little cut down here at the base. And this is the part that we're going to take back to our other lab and look at it further to determine reproductive rates and also litter size.
With teeth, unlike deer, you're unable to tell the age just based on tooth wear or the pattern of tooth eruption. So we need to take a really close look at this tooth. And what the lab does for us is they'll take this tooth and they'll cut it into thin slices, and they'll look for rings. Those rings are just like the rings on a tree and tell us how many winters that animal's lived. So that tells us how old the animal is. And when we have many animals, we're able to get an idea of what the age structure is on across the population. Age structure being the ratio of juveniles to 1-year-olds to 2-year-olds to 3-year-olds and so on. And with that, we're able to start to piece together what kind of population processes we have to be able to produce an age structure like that. So what's going on in the population so that we see that ratio of ages in the wild population. With the reproductive tracts, when an embryo is gestated, it'll leave a scar, a dark area in the uterus. And it's a little difficult to see here, but when we get it back to the laboratory and clean it up, we'll be able to see those very clearly. Here's one light one here, this darker spot. That's where an embryo had attached to the uterus and grew. So we're able to piece together two pieces of information. We're able to look at the average litter sizes across the population, and then average litter size for specific ages, because we collect those ages too. That's age-specific reproduction. Those are two pieces of information that we can't get through surveys, and we need to have carcasses like this to be able to gather that information. All that information is put together in a population model, and that population model is one of the sources of information we use to assess the health of our bobcat population and to assess the impacts of our management actions on our bobcat population.
And so hopefully the information in this short video helps you all out as far as understanding why it is that we ask you to collect these carcasses for us. And I just again want to say, thank you and how appreciative we are of you being able to work with us to provide us these animals so we can collect information to help guide our management decisions. So we just really appreciate it.